Hey everyone, welcome to Logan's Mosh Pit. Glad to have you here. Do me a favor and please subscribe if you haven't already. Today we're going to do another episode of the Memory Lane series. In this series, we're going to take a look back at some interesting articles and interviews from old guitar magazines. My dad has been collecting guitar magazines for about 30 years now. He saved a bunch of them. He was kind enough to let me borrow some. So the one we're going to look at today is the May 2008 issue of Guitar World magazine. Not just any Guitar World magazine. This is a special one. Why? Because it just so happens to be the 300th issue. No signs of slowing down. Basically, the staff cobbled together a lot of highlights from their rich history. Exceedingly difficult for me to choose a single piece to read. I might revisit this marvelous magazine later. We'll see. Eventually, I picked a phenomenal Frank Zappa interview. I made my own mustache. Do you like it? I think I look better. Mr. Zappa hasn't been offered an opportunity to join the Memory Lane series until now. In this interview, Frank Zappa will delve into the financial hardships he faced on stage. This interview occurred all the way back in issue number 11 from March of 1982. First, the backstory. Guitar World caught up with Frank Zappa at the Palladium in New York, where the maestro was presenting his perennial Pumpkin Day concert celebration. Zappa had just issued his 3 Shut Up and Play Your Guitar albums, which emphasized his solo and improvisational guitar work and was bringing his complex compositions to the stage with his latest touring group, for whom he served as director. Among the members of his 8-piece band was a young guitarist by the name of Steve Vai, who would go on to grace many Guitar World covers himself. Zappa was in the midst of a boycott on print media interviews, but he agreed to speak with Guitar World writer John Swenson, who had reviewed the Shut Up and Play Your Guitar albums in the November 1981 issue. Now, on to the interview. What gets you off as a director? I enjoy doing anything that is theoretically impossible and making it work. I mean, you saw us play some things on stage that were impossible and didn't even know it. If you saw what that music was that they were playing, if you saw it on paper and realized these guys were out there doing it with choreography and kind of dancing all over the stage, that was some of the hardest anybody in the symphony orchestra would ever be asked to play. They're dancing around and doing it from memory. There's not an orchestra in the world that could have done that. And it looks like, hey, we're having a good time. They sweated their nuts off to learn that stuff. How long did you rehearse? 2 months, minimum of 5 days a week. Sometimes 6 days a week. Minimum of 6 hours a day and sometimes 10 hours a day. Does it ever happen that you put together a band and they seem like the right guys and then they just can't do it? Sure, all the time. What do you do then? Fire them, get another band. But obviously, that didn't happen with these guys. The bass player was really great too. Great. He's a great guy. His name is Scott Thunes. And he's really a great guy. He's 21. The drummer, Chad Wackerman, is 21. So is Steve Vai. You know, it would seem almost like an indulgence for you to perform live with a group because it's so expensive and takes so long to work up. Well, just so you really understand the mathematics involved, what do you think 2 months of rehearsals costs? Don't know. $250,000. That's before I buy the airplane tickets and pay for the hotels in advance. That comes out of my pocket before I get a nickel from any ticket sales. That's what I have to invest to make a band sound like that. And I don't think the audience has the slightest idea what that means. I am not funded from the sky. The money that they spend on a ticket this year turns into somebody's salary next year, or it turns into airplane tickets. It turns into new equipment. I've been telling people, I don't stick this up my nose and I don't buy yachts. But in a way, it would be much cheaper for you to just record and compose and try to get things done that way. Yes and no. But, I mean, look, I love music. I love to play. And I enjoy going on stage and improvising a guitar solo. It's the instant challenge of going against the law of physics and the laws of gravity and going on stage and playing something nobody has ever heard before and nobody would dare to play. That's what I like to do. That's sex. That takes you into a realm of science, and you can't do that sitting at home. And you can't do it in the recording studios. It's not the same feeling. Well, that's the end of the interview with Frank Zappa. Let me know what you guys thought of the interview in the comments below. That does it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate the support. I'll see you next time. Until then, rock on.